Okay, everyone, thank you for coming. On March the 5th, 2015, the Jackson City Council passed an order to invoke an investigation into the finding of the Raftellus Financial Consultants report. On March the 5th, 2015, the Public Works Department and Raftellus Financial Consultants Incorporated presented findings to the Jackson City Council, which the council finds it necessary to launch an investigation to ensure proper use of city funds. In the technical memorandum or billing system data review of the Raftellus report, the project team identified several patterns of billing and collections that may explain our low revenue figures. We will take a deeper look into the reasons for decreased revenues from the city's revenues to ensure tax money is spent wisely. Raftellus and his team completed phase 1 of their report with the Department of Public Works, and those areas what they looked into were strategic financial planning, revenue sufficiency analysis, billing system data review, the Siemens contract review, and the infrastructure master plan development, and a few other issues that they helped do work for us with. We got presented a lot of information over the last day or so. We were presented with a whole lot of information, and we are working hard to ensure that we acquire accurate data, and verify the data that we receive, and also that we ask the right questions and bring in the appropriate levels of intellect and institutional knowledge to ensure that we're making good decisions based on sound data. We're going to look at a lot of things. Councilman Fritz says a good point yesterday that one of the best detergents is sunlight. And if we shine sunlight into some dark places, we appreciate the people's diligence and their patience in this matter. We will go through each item, line by line, step by step. I also want to say that the work product of this report looks back over a lot of years. They reviewed 15 years of financial documents and data, 15 years of billings. This all started when the mayor first got elected. He talked about data-driven decisions. He got elected and he brought aboard the when the administration came aboard, they identified some institutional knowledge gaps. They brought forward the Public Works Director that we felt comfortable with. We moved forward. She identified issues that we all had concerns, and we heard things. But she brought forward the company who did this review. So this is actually the work product of the administration reviewing itself. And now it's time for the council to take that work product, move forward, and dig into it deeper, and look for the appropriate accountability measures to be employed. So this time we'll take the question.
How big part of the Siemens, what was Siemens contract be?
It's a portion of it. The Siemens contract, the administration did a stop work order. Now, after doing my own investigation and listening to the Raftellus Financial Consultants, part of the recommendation is that it's in the city's best interest to go forward with the installation of the water meters and hold back on the billing system data conversion until we can verify more of the data for the billing system. And at that time, we will go forward with that as well. The city doesn't start making money on the Siemens deal until all the construction is complete. So everything we can do to clear up the communications, to clear up the construction issues and remedy them, and move forward with construction, I believe this is in the city's best interest.
Is the investigation, I mean, as part of this process, going to be hearings, and will those hearings be open?
All right, so there are certain things that that have to be handled in executive session, the personnel matters and the matters of potential litigation. The rest of it will be us bringing in some people to do some portions of the investigation first. We will have the authority to call witnesses, and we have certain powers as well.
What's the subpoena power?
What's that?
Will that include subpoena power?
Legal to let it conclude subpoena power.
That is not what's stated in the ordinance. Refer to the actual ordinance.
You refer to the order here. It says it is for order that the Jackson City Council pursuant to the Jackson Code of Ordinances number 2-39 made by majority vote retain auditors, legal advisors, consultants, or other professional staff that may be necessary to conduct an investigation. So we have the power to compel witnesses. I'll get that question answered, reference to subpoena.
Is the city legal department gonna handle this, or is it bring it outside?
We're gonna work, maybe a combination of the two. We're working through a work plan now to craft the work plan for how this engagement will happen.
Have y'all contacted the state auditor's office or not yet?
The administration has been in communication with the auditor's office over time. The council has not. This whole investigation is from our side of the fence. So we will contact the appropriate higher level agencies as we gather data and know more about the different issues. So this is us handling our business before we call other people in. Let us get a firm understanding of what's going on, and then we move forward with issues.
What's going to be your first focus moving forward?
Well, my first focus is we'll be reaching out to city workers, and we'll be reaching out to constituents to bring us information. If you know of something, if you have information of something, we'll present a mechanism for people to submit that information anonymously or and bring us information. We're in a fact-finding stage. We have some higher level information, but now I want to get from the ground up. No one knows this machine like the people who operate it. And we'll give them an opportunity to bring us information, and then we will know who and to what degree. I don't want to call people in if I'm specifically want to ask them.
The contract was also tied into the sale of, I think, about $90 million in bonds. Are y'all going to be looking at the bond deal as well?
We'll be looking at all of it. The Siemens contract from the beginning to the end. What led up to it, the decision-making process to go into it, how it was crafted. I believe the Siemens contract wasn't the best contract ever. I've expressed my concerns over it in the past. And, we will go through it. But right now, we're in it. And we're inside of that contract, and we need to respond with the terms of the contract.
Do you feel like launching this investigation, something will be solved very soon, or is it going to be a process?
Well, things will happen very soon. If there are on the personnel side, if personnel haven't been doing things inappropriately, you'll be amazed at how fast people start doing things appropriately once they know accountability is on its way.
Is it fraud that you're looking at? Should I go aside?
All of it.
Raftellus was hired to look specifically at the performance guarantee in Siemens, to look at the whole of the contract. Are you looking at retaining, keeping Raftellus on, bringing in another firm?
We're deliberating on that question right now. They did a great job in the data they provided, and we will continue to we'll deliberate to see if we want to retain them further for further services.
Have either of y'all read the report, the actual?
Yep.
Yes.
What stood out to you the most, or out of the report?
Well, the report covered several different topics, and of those topics, the Siemens contract wasn't the major concern in the report. It was a concern, but the major concern was the areas of potential litigation and personnel issues.
It seemed that
I like it like this, Keith. The city operates like a bucket, and that bucket fills with water every year. And that water is money, resources. So right now the bucket's leaking. So before you can start talking about a conversation of raising rates and all these types of things, you have to put the leaks, fix the leaks in the bucket. There are several instances where we can take action immediately by changing policy, by strengthening our ordinances. Those are the small level, low-hanging fruit solutions that are out there. And from there, we will move forward with the higher level personnel issues, practices, accountability in those measures.
Are residents going to see any immediate changes as this is going on?
Well, I believe that you'll see more water meter readers read water meters.
And also, if you read the study, which both of y'all did, it seemed that the actual guarantees from the contract from Siemens really weren't that much out of everything they claimed. Y'all have a comment on that, or?
Well, the guarantees in it, only thing we're guaranteed is get water meters in the ground. The efficiencies, the bulk of the efficiencies have to do with things that the city needs to do itself in the process. And we will push forward to encourage the administration to push those efficiencies forward.
Doesn't the report say that in order to get the benefits of the performance guarantee, you have to get rid of water meter readers?
Well, if water meters are being read electronically, you don't need people to read them electronically, but we have dozens of open positions in the Public Works Department where we need other positions filled. When we came aboard last year, we had about 90 vacancies in the Public Works Department. So there are areas in the Public Works Department and other areas in the city where people can be retrained and serve in a different capacity.
Since you're allowing the installation of meters, how are you gonna read them efficiently while that's going on? Could people still get $1,000 water bills?
Well, we will, that's an executive side of the branch, that's an executive branch kind of question, but we're gonna make sure that we apply the appropriate accountability to the executive branch to spur right action.
Do you believe meters were being underread?
One second. Go ahead.
Do you believe bills were being exaggerated and some bills may have come under, so the city lost money? Is that what you're saying?
Well, accuracy is what we're going for. We want more accurate reading of water meters in the whole process. It's not just the reading of the meter, it's the process that reading goes through till it produces a bill. That whole process must be accurate. From the reading to the calculation to well, first off, from the meter, reading in the appropriate calibration, to the reading, to the calculation, to the billing, to the payment, to the payment getting to the bank, to everything. The whole cycle needs to be aligned.
When did the installation of the meters restart?
It happens, right?
Okay.
Part of the report, they recommended that the city move forward with the installation of water meters, hold back on the billing because the data in the billing system that we have, if you put garbage in to the new billing system, you get garbage out. We must get accurate reading of the meter so that there is accurate billing data going into the new system before we proceed forward with the billing system, the new billing system.
Are you seeing the corrective action plan, and do you have confidence that it will proceed where it
Well,
needs to be?
I have confidence that the corrective action on our side will apply the appropriate accountability to move forward.
How do you put in the water meters and get revenues from the users if you're not, I
It all has to
guess,
happen.
using the billing?
This thing has several areas, but getting the human element out of that process as much as possible so that we can look at accurate data from the meter to the reading, to the calibration, to the billing, making that process as structured and taking any area or room for inefficiency out of that process is what we do. And also, we don't realize the small savings in the Siemens contract until the construction is complete. So at the same time, on the Siemens side, we are paying a bond that we borrow. We're paying it back every year to the tune of millions of dollars a year. But we're not realizing any savings until all those meters are in the ground and they're reading through an AMI system and reporting back to a computer. We don't realize any degree of savings until the construction of the whole process is complete.
We're gonna wrap this up. We have time for one more question. If anyone else has a question.
What would you like to say to the citizens of Jackson about this investigation?
Well, thank you very much. And I will say to the citizens of Jackson, we're going to work hard to continue to ensure that stewardship is in order. The stewardship of the trust that you've given us, the funds you've given us, the positions we hold, we're going to ensure that we continue to apply the appropriate accountability that is necessary to make the machine roll properly. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve as your president, And thank you to my council colleague and all of our city staff for participating in this endeavor. And we appreciate it. We're gonna keep working through it. We learned this information just 2 days ago. So we're gonna roll through this step by step. This is not gonna be a quick fix. This is not a soundbite conversation. This is, this is these are systemic problems that have been going on for a long time, that have come to a head, and now we must change and write the culture of the city. And this is what that culture change looks like, making tough decisions, and breaking through some patterns that have been going in the past.
All right, thank you, everyone.
You need some thoughts. I'm sorry, I could hold me too much.
Councilman Foote,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you. Most of the years that have gone in have been your ward.
I'm not sure, I've actually wondered about that question. I do not know, but my guess would be that Ward One may have more than a share of
Yeah.
new meters.
Have you been getting that? Because
We've had, I think I was out checking a meter once today. Where the concern was it had the gallon meter versus the cubic feet.
there's somebody flying down.
Yeah, we've had one, so just one. This is one particular client, a customer, business, it called us, myself and Lee Morris, my deputy, went out to the property. And we looked, he inspected the meter, and in fact, it was a gallon meter that had been given gallon readings instead of cubic feet readings.
Has this customer been in contact with the
Oh, yeah, there's been a period over about 6 months where there'd be some discussion about the size of the bill that was inordinately large and
Hey, thanks for the comment. I appreciate it. That was a good one.
sent a memo to the water sewer department today, this afternoon. And hopefully this will bring it to a close.
Because, I mean, they know the gallon meters are in the system. You would think that if they get a call about it, they'd send somebody to come pick it up and swap it out. It's not.
Well, yeah, I think in this case, they didn't send anybody out to look at it, and I don't know, I don't want to try to, pass judgment at this point in time. But you're right, that's what should happen. It probably takes a fair amount of manpower to do that. But anyway, hopefully we'll be able to resolve this, by early next week.
Yeah. You're not regretting it, but you have to come into it.
No, this is really fascinating. Quite an adventure.
Quite an adventure. All right. Well, have fun in DC.
Okay,
Guess
right.
we weren't invited.
That's too bad. You'll just show up.
I should just
Crash the
show
party.
up. Crash the party. Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, I gotta be here. I gotta be airport.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Is that right? I'm Ashby Foote.
Donald.
Okay. Are you with Ron?
I help him out once in a
Okay.
while. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I used to be in the district and now.
Is that right? Okay.
No, I got moved to the market. I'm
Oh,
in
you're
the
local?
upper.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask this question since you said last.
You can have active people.
Is the
Then she did it. She
other
did
than
it.
Here's what, I'll put it this way. The report that's available online. Good. You know, but that's pretty much it. We had seen that report, I got it the night before, so I read it that night. And then we had a meeting yesterday, and then we got to ask some pointed questions during the executive session. And then we finished the executive session, and we made sure that they had made the PowerPoint presentation on the regular session Zoom, so that the public would have access to the PowerPoint presentation. Now, so phrase your question again.
well, and to be honest, nothing in the report I don't feel like I'd earned a solution.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just a detail. I think we really need to have is that public hearings, and everything you guys investigated is public.
Okay.
Everybody knows, other than when
That's the challenge we face, is we don't want to we don't want to create liabilities for the city by talking about, something that we don't, couldn't get rid of.
But I used to be in the city council.
Did you?
And you can go in the executive session for a lot of reasons.
Right.
There's only a few.
Right, these
And
are
it could
the
be
real
used-
reasons. We were, because once we were going to
No, I
get
don't-
together with
yeah.
personnel problems and both of them were discussed. It was discussed in very, engaged conversation with all council. So it's very, the council, is very motivated to get the process.
I'm gonna hope for the best and
Yeah.
hope that it happens the right way. I really think that would go a long way in terms of changing the culture. There is a clause that the person who could.
I agree.
Lowest salary person, the guy who said sunshine.
I was like, Willie Brandeis is, sunlight is the best disinfectant, and you produce a different nutrition.
Not the sun, not the sunshine.
Yeah.
Are you with 25 hours?
I can talk to the guy.
Same thing with them.
Oh.
It's just certain deals, certain areas, they make certain amounts.